Shalom. All praises be to the Most High and to His Son Yahushua and all of the 12 tribes of Israel scattered across the earth. Basically, I want to just bring to the forefront of what I've been working on as a little bit of both biblical and archaeology, a little bit. I don't know if I said that correctly, but anyways, just something that I've been working on in regards to the things I've been researching about how blacks have had it so rough in America and how it ties with the Bible. I'm reading from some of the things that I have jotted down so I don't sound confusing or my words don't sound baffled. But basically, the violence within and towards Black America. A person looking at this whole situation with a tunnel view would have only a worldly understanding of why blacks have it so rough in America. Most people would honestly go with the thought that it's just suppressed racism that white people have towards black, or just the fact that they just don't even see us as equals. And it's a little bit of both. And there's also in the Constitution that blacks are only considered 2/3 of a human still. So even in the Constitution, we're still considered animals. And with all of that being said, it has literally nothing to do with why black people have it so rough in America. Blacks in America, if you have not been told this, again, and if you doubt it, I hope you take everything that I say in this to true consideration, because there is truth in the scriptures, and also there is light. You just got to look for it. But blacks in America are the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, and it's the biggest kept secret in the world. The so-called Jews in Israel right now, they're not really Jews. They're actually Khazars, which is AKA the Roman government who destroyed them back then. And it is actually who John in Revelation was making reference to as the beast, the one that was, is no more, and will be, which meaning the rise, the fall, and the reemergence. So again, the reemergence of that beast will be in these final days. But sticking on subject, the reason why and how I've come to the knowledge that blacks are the true Israelites is that, number one, the story starts off in the Old Testament. Most black Christian churches don't go to the Old Testament except for psalms and hymns. That's it. They don't really even go into the detail or the study of it, because if they read Deuteronomy chapter 8, everything that is described in Deuteronomy chapter 8 meets the description of the struggles and the stresses that the black man goes to in America to this day. So I don't think really the church that you're going to right now, if you wake up, if you go into a black, or you went to a black church, none of them would actually go into the great detail is what I'm going to explain to you as far as the Israelites go. But anyways, God made a promise to the Israelites after He brought them out of Egypt when they were in bondage, that if they fully and wholeheartedly served Him and abide by His commandments and laws, which is technically all in one word, just the laws. It's the 10 commandments, and it's also the laws He gave Moses on Mount Sinai. He gave them laws, and He told them, you follow these laws, you love Me wholeheartedly, I will make you rulers over this world. Y'all run the whole show. If a can of Coca-Cola gets sold for 55 cents, y'all getting 30. That's how much power we would have had if the Israelites would have stayed and obeyed God's word. But what happened is that the moment we got into that land that God gave Moses through Joshua, the moment we got over there, one of the two commandments that I feel was probably the most damaging ones that we should have followed and didn't, was as soon as the Israelites got over there, our descendants, as soon as they got over there, they started intermarrying with the native people of the land. Once you marry somebody from outside your religion, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get used to their customs and the way they do something. Like if a Christian got with a Buddhist, they have to learn the Buddhist's religion and background and adapt it to their life. Y'all didn't want that to happen. because he knew once we got over there, seen them fine old girls, big booties, boom, all this, everything out there, fair skin, baby hair on the side. Once we got over there, it was a wrap. And that's what happened. We started intermeeting with them, and once we got with them, they were practicing other gods. They didn't believe in the Most High. They believed in many gods. So it drew Israel away from Yah. And what happened is he was like, okay, I got to remind y'all, I'm Yah. I'm y'all. Okay, slavery. Went back into slavery. And at that time, it was the Babylonians. And this happened like 4 or 5 times. It happened with the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Persians, the Greeks, and then Rome. Each time we would get out of captivity, we would go right back and do the same thing. And we kept doing that with God. We kept teetering the fence with God. We say we need him, get us out of this slavery. As soon as we get out of slavery, we going back to do the same thing that we did that got us into slavery. So what happened is that God, sitting from the Most High, sitting from all above everything, said, all right, I'm going to send my son. Since y'all can't follow by direction, okay, I'm giving y'all these directions. I gave y'all these directions with Moses. Y'all not following these directions. So I got to give y'all something that's in the physical and the flesh. Okay? So that's when he sends Yahushua. Yahushua came only to draw many Israelites back to Yah. See, a lot of Gentiles will make this mistake and say, see, that's where you're wrong. Because it says in John 1, he came unto his people and they knew him not. No, they knew who he was, because in Luke chapter 9, 10 through 17, it says once the people found out where Jesus was, they came by the thousands. This happened twice. And when they came by the thousands, he fed them. So you can't say that he came unto his people and his people not knew him not, because everywhere they were looking for that man to pop up. As soon as he got onto the mountain, they crowded around the mountain as he gave the parables and as he gave, told them how to pray. He was telling them how to pray to Yah, to the Most High, to get back in the good favor with them. That wasn't for the Gentiles. The Gentiles didn't even come into play until Cornelius, player. I'm sorry. Cornelius was the first Gentile that was mentioned. Those first books was strictly about Jesus coming, or Yahushua coming to earth to minister to the lost tribes of Israel, to gather them back. So if any Gentile tries to argue and say his people did not know him not, you're right. His people didn't know him not. The people that Yahushua was talking about was actually the priests, the scribes, and the elders. Those jealous, motherfuckers. They're the one that had it out for Yahushua, because he was coming around there healing people from the dead. He was doing things that they couldn't do. He knew the scriptures better than them. It was I'd say with all of them combined, just estimating there's probably 30 of them. He knew more than 30 men times infinity. And they were jealous of that. And they knew that if Rome found out that this man had more knowledge of the scriptures than they did, they say, why the hell we put y'all in power and govern over these people? Off with your head. Put them in charge. So that's the reason why they had to get rid of Yahushua. So at the end of the day, if you're teetering on that and you believe that Yahushua came for the whole world, that don't let that John 3:16 verse deceive you, because the world he was talking about was the world of Israel. It wasn't the world. The Gentiles wasn't grafted in until Cornelius. And when the Gentiles was grafted in, it was for them to provoke Israel to be jealous. Because now that if we fell off the tree, but we wasn't totally cut off. Because how can you cut off the root? We are the tree. God is the light and the water that grows us, but we are that olive tree. Just like you do dead branches on a tree, you cut them off and preserve us of the tree. So the Israelites are still, in fact, till this day, the olive tree. Yahushua cut off branches. He didn't cut the tree. You Gentiles were just grafted in. And Paul even tells y'all to don't get overzealous. But that's something else that I'll go into on a whole nother day. I can go into that, whatever. But pretty much Yahushua came for the people of Israel. Now, sticking back to subject. Right before Yahushua was killed, he started having prophecies, and he started to predict the future with his apostles. And the apostles was asking them, they were curious that what was the end were going to be. Most Gentiles would say that he was talking about the end of the world. Like, no. He wasn't talking about the end of the world. He was talking about when would the temple be destroyed? When would the temple be destroyed? When will the end come? And Yahushua said in that prophecy was, when you see armies surround Jerusalem, know that the end is nigh, and all my people in the cities flee to the mountains. Now, those mountains that he fled to, it was telling them to flee to, was the same mountains his mother Mary and Joseph fled to when he was a child. See, Jesus is not white, he's black, because, and this is how I know he's black for a fact. During that time, the people that ruled Egypt looked like me, was the same color. They're the seeds of Ham. The word Ham means black, burnt. What other humans you know that look black and burnt other than people of color? So the reason why Yahushua went there as a child was to blend in, not just to go chill or whatever. He went to blend in because if they knew he was white and the Romans came down there and they was white, all they had to do was ask them, where's this white baby's Jesus at? I'm looking for a white baby. All them black people would turn and look at each other. He down the street. But if he was a black baby, they wouldn't know the difference. So that's how you know Jesus is black. There's other things that I can go into that show that Jesus was black, but as you know right now, that's how I know Jesus was black. But the people, he told the people to go over into the mountains, into Africa. And what they did was that they entered through Africa, through Egypt. They went through the Sudan, the Sahara Desert, and they end up settling on the west coast of Africa. One of the original cities that they created down there is a city called Uda. Now, Uda is spelled with an I think it's O-I-U-D-A. I don't know. Don't let me start lying to you. But it's called Uda. One of the tribes that did end up fleeing, because in 70 AD, basically, and that's what I forgot to say. So in 70 AD, I think it was like 30 or 35 years after Christ was nailed to the cross, that's when Jerusalem was destroyed. That's when this Roman guy named Pompey and his son came through, killed man, woman, and child. But they didn't kill them all because over 1 million of them fled through Africa at that time. So they got away. They went again through Egypt, through the Sudan, through the Sahara Desert, all the way to the west coast of Africa. They're on the west coast of Africa chilling. Okay? And this is where everything starts to tie into the slave trade, because now what happened was that what we did in all of those other captivities, we did in at the country of Africa where we settled at. We did it there. We seen big booty chicks, took on their gods, started marrying them. God was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. Y'all gonna be like this until Yahushua come back, because that's when he's gonna gather the real ones. Until then, I'm done. He threw his hands up. So what happened was that during the slave trade, all of the slaves that was taken at the time were from Igbo dialect, the Asante tribe, which is the tribe that my father ascends from. My father is pure 100% Ghanaian. He's from the city of Accra in Ghana. And his tribe is the Asante tribe. They right now, cocoa producing is the second leading export in the world, and that's what my family and my father and what they did there. But rumor has it is that my father got upset with the doctor because he wanted to make sure that he made me circumcised. One of the laws that God gave Abraham to show the people of Israel different from everybody else is all the males of the tribe had to be circumcised. and that's a tradition that's been passed on to Moses till this day. They practice it in Ghana, and also the way they marriage. But anyways, so basically, he brought us back into slavery. And it's because of this new slavery is now the reason why we are being oppressed in this land. Because when we first got over here, and again, this is where I'm going to get into the meat potatoes of what I'm talking about. When we first got over here, the slaves had already, and I don't mean to say slaves, I should say the Israelites. The Israelites had drifted so far from the word of Yah that, the people who were oppressing us put on this religion called Christianity. And this is and I don't get this. I don't get this with all black churches, because all black churches get their doctrine from the same religion of the people who oppressed us. But anyways, I can go all on about that. But basically, it's because we accepted this Christianity as being a religion. And then also, on the flip side, some of the slaves could relate to some of the people that was in bondage that was talked about in the Bible. So for the ones that could read. For the ones that couldn't read, they were just told to go to church, say you love God, this and that, whatever, on Sunday, which the Lord totally tells us that his day of worship is the Sabbath day, which is the seventh, which is Saturday, from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. But that's something else. But anyways, we started adapting to this religion called Christianity. One of the laws that he gave the Israelites was do not worship any images. Any graven images of me or what's in heaven or what's up underneath the earth. Don't worship any graven images. What does the Christian church make you worship when you walk into it? You can see it from the outside. It's a cross. We're not supposed to be, they're not supposed to be worshiping any type of cross. It's a picture of Jesus when you go into a church too. We're not supposed, that's a graven image. When they're not supposed to, whatever. But we're not supposed to worship any of those type of images. It was a law that was given to Moses one of the laws that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Another one of the laws is that if you sleep with somebody else, everybody knows the gay stuff, but I'm not even gonna go into that. That's something else. But this is a law that probably no one doesn't know. If you sleep with someone, it's mandatory that you get up and you wash those sheets. It's a reason why God says that. And that's another law that is you cannot eat any shellfish from the sea. That's shrimp, that's lobster, you're not supposed to eat any of that. That's another subject of going and all that. But those are just some of the laws that was given to us. But the main laws that is considered abomination is when we start worshiping other gods and start using image to describe God, because no image on earth can fit the creator. Who's going to make an image of God and please him when he's the creator? So if that's the case, I know these people in these churches have these images that God is looking at, and especially of Yahushua, that he's like, but anyways, that's another subject. But basically we started doing that, and what happened is that the Most High was like, okay, you're not going to listen to me. You're not going to turn from me. You're not going to turn from your sin. Now you're in slavery and now you worshiping other gods. Like, at least when you were in slavery, you were worshiping me. Now when you're in slavery, you worshiping a God that don't even know you. You don't even know this God. And now you worshiping it? Okay. The God that you worshiping, I'm going to make it as your oppressor. And that's why you see a lot of violence throughout the history. That 400 years is because that whole time while we're worshiping a God we have no knowledge of. This is a God that was just thrown at us. The book has everything to do with us, but we're not taking it into context because it's our oppressor that's teaching us the Bible. They taught us the Bible. If we would have learned the Bible in the original format, the way we are supposed to study it now, things would be totally different. But it's because they taught us the Bible. No pastor can sit up there and honestly say that they taught themselves the Bible, because you've already had some pre-type of teaching or knowledge of the Bible before you came into the Word. All you did was that you took whatever it was that you learned that has been passed down from generation in generation and manifested it into, your own interpretation, when really the children of Israel, everyone has is supposed to have the same interpretation of the word of Yah. The same, they're supposed to follow by the same. Nothing was blurred lines with God. It was black or white. Now everything with the Christian church is blurred lines. You can do this, but you can't do this. You can do this, but you can't do this. It's so cool. It's okay to be gay, but this is, and I no knock it to anybody that's gay, because this is not to offend you in any way, shape, or form. You know, so I do want to say, whatever your preference, that's your preference. You deal with what you got to deal with the Most High. I'll do the same. But that's what society has does. It's they're blurred. That's what the Christian church has done. It's blurred the lines to where now no one has a clear understanding of the Bible, and it's because that we've been taught this interpretation of the Bible. We go off instead of looking at the Bible in its literal context, because the Bible gives you describes how you're supposed to read the Bible. It's not take what verse it is that plays with your emotion to have you feeling some type of way after church. Like, ooh, if I do this, God said he's going to bless me and make me fruitful and multiply. No, the Bible isn't for you to take it as to be a stepping stone to receiving something other than eternal life. You're not supposed to be expecting anything but eternal life from the Bible. Not expecting to increase your finances, or not expecting to have a better job or this and that or whatever. The Bible's primary focus is to draw you to Yah, his word, and to give you eternal life. And most of these churches interpret it and they play off these people's feelings. And that's why they got these people giving them billions and billions of dollars, and they're able to do all of this and that, but still when they go home, they're not getting that prosperity that they're being preached. They're being conned into keep coming back every Sunday to give that preacher some money, but they're not being fed the true word. So again, but basically that's what God has done, because we've taken our oppressor's religion and turned it into something totally different. God has said, all right, I'm going to use this religion to kill you. But so fast forward to now, the late 70s. It's like now you got these new age Afrocentric people who say that they are now they're God. I don't get how black people come out and say, we're gods, we created the universe, the world revolves around us. We're the center of the universe. How the hell are y'all the center of the universe and y'all can't even get yourself out of poverty? How? How the hell y'all create the pyramids in Egypt and y'all can't even create a global economy? Creating and building the pyramids in Egypt is 10 times harder than creating an economy. All you got to do is invest some money and stick to the script. But creating them damn pyramids take a lot of thinking and ingenuity. You would think that people who created the pyramids and who consider themselves gods can get themselves out of all of this drama that we have. So now that we are boasting against God now, it's not only we looking at the scriptures and they got us worshiping God on Sunday when it should be Saturday and all this other stuff, and we're taking the scriptures out of context and we're using prosperity preaching now. Not only the black church is doing that, now you got black people saying that they are God. We are fucked. Seriously. Black people is fucked because, again, we're doing all of this and it's now saying you're God is like you're an antichrist. You're saying that you're against God now. If you are God, you are against God, because no one is better than God. So if you're saying that you're a God in the Bible, what they say, people who are saying they're God and they're going against God, they're antichrist. So now you're saying you're an antichrist. So now everything that's happening now to black people is starting to be increased, because not only are we following a doctrine that was made by people, the Roman Catholic Church, who oppressed us then and are oppressing us now. Not only are we following their Christian preaching, now we're saying that we are gods and we recreated the universe. So now we're mocking God. And that's why you see a lot of these activities. That's why you see a lot of these events happening, and it's strictly geared toward black people, because God is sending us a message. And there are people that are awakening up, like myself. I know a few other people that are actually coming back into the true word of Yah. And me, I'm starting to obey the Sabbath now. A lot of things that I am changing. I'm not perfect in no way, shape, or form. I've just come into the word, and I'm still growing. But it don't take a blind man to see that we are our own self-destruction, because we are not abiding by Yah's laws. We are going against everything that Yah had put out for us, and we are seeking after what pleases us in the flesh. We are begging our oppressors for acceptance. That's how bad it is. We're going on TV telling them, please don't shoot us. How do we go from being God's chosen people to going on national television begging a government not to shoot us? Begging. Because that's what it looks like. For the last 400 years, we have been begging our oppressors not to kill us. And we are not listening to the words of Yah. So that's my interpretation of it. That's what I get. That's how far I've come into seeking the knowledge of Yah, his son Yahushua. And I thank my father for being Ghana. I thank my father for being from Ghana, because I have a sense of purpose. I have a sense of ancestry. I know a little bit about me now that I can trace back. Not everybody black can actually go back and trace their original roots, but just by my father being from Ghana and being from the Asante tribe, which gives, not only his family and his descendants connectual ties, it also gives me a connectual tie. It gives me a sense of purpose to go out and know as much about my heritage as possible. And there's nothing that anybody can do that can overturn the curses. The only thing we can do right now is that we could turn back to Yah, hear his word, and in these last days, hopefully be able to reign in him and his kingdom. Because when he come back, he's not coming back twice. No rapture is going to happen. Y'all thinking that he gonna come back, crack the sky, grab people, and dip off? That's not gonna happen, because he says to the nation of Israel, not to Gentiles, because again, Cornelius wasn't brought in during Christ's ministry, but he says to the Gentiles in this word, "He that endureth to the end shall be saved." That means we are going to be persecuted. We are going to be killed. We are going to be. This is going to happen to us. But for the ones who trust and believe in Yah's word, he is going to protect them. He's going to be a shield. He's going to be a fortress. But we have to turn back to his word and stop allowing these Christian churches to teach us the word of Yah when the word of Yah is already in us. You don't need another motherfucker to tell you to do what you need to do. You need to do what you need to do. So don't let a Christian church or a Christian pastor tell you that this is the way God has intended plans for your life. Don't let them deceive you too, because they have themselves been deceived. The Antichrist will come and deceive many. That doesn't mean just a few people here and there to get. No, that means he's going to deceive many. The Antichrist is the Christian religion because it is against Yahushua. Everything about the religion is against it. It was created by the Gentiles for the Gentiles to make sure that the Israelites never inherited Yahweh's promise, and that is the earth, the kingdom, everything in it. This is supposed to be ours, but we are not fighting for it. What we are doing, we are becoming accustomed to and allowing the earth to dictate us instead of us dictating the world. So with that being said, I hope whatever I said to y'all was beneficial. I hope somebody took some questions that wanted to be answered out of this, and if all else, Just stay awake, stay awoke. Put your peoples on. If you have to, show them this. Let them know. And again, do the research because it's out there. I've done it. I've seen it. So, with that being said, peace and blessings and shalom.